Hello YouTube, welcome back to Case Technologies. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the 5 things that every systems engineer should know. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you're just getting started in the IT field and you want to become a systems engineer, either working with Windows or Linux, I want to talk about some things that you should basically know already starting out. It'll make your job easier, and you shouldn't really even be in the role if you don't even understand these basics. So let's go ahead and begin with the first step. On day one, you should be able to understand DNS, just the basic understanding of DNS and how it works. DNS is the domain name system where you associate names to IP addresses. For example, Google.com. Google.com is still using the IP protocol, the internet protocol. It has an IP address associated with it, but it's human readable, so that every human that wants to go there doesn't have to remember the IP address that's associated with it. For example, if it's, and I know this is a private IP, but 192.168.1.40, everyone wouldn't have to remember that IP address, right? Or something like remembering their DNS name. You would have to even their DNS server, which is very popular if you work in IT, and you would know them right off the top of your head. But most individuals, like your grandmother, your mother, your father, who aren't really familiar with the internet like that, or they aren't very technical, wouldn't want to sit there and put in IP addresses to remember someone's website, like 8.8.8.8, or any other IP address for that matter. It's much easier to remember the actual name, even if you're marketing your website as a business, a brand, twitter.com, facebook.com. You wouldn't want to use like a phone number, for instance. It's much easier just to have that person's name or that website's name or that business name. So make sure you have an understanding of DNS before you begin your position. The next is user management. If you're going to be a systems engineer, you're going to have to create user accounts, whether it be administrative accounts, regular user accounts. You're going to have to be pretty familiar with that. So if you're just using a Linux environment that is a homogeneous environment that is only Linux, then you're going to be more than likely using some type of LDAP infrastructure. So you're going to use some type of lightweight directory access protocol, or you're going to be using, if it's a heterogeneous or still a homogeneous environment based on Windows, you're going to be using Active Directory. And most places use Active Directory. I haven't seen many places that use LDAP, unless they're just primarily managing servers and they're doing all internet-based activities. You're going to be using Active Directory. You're going to have, that's where your usernames are going to be stored, all of your devices for your network, anything that has to join the network, whether it's some type of badge access, workstation, monitor. It's going to be using more than likely Active Directory. So you just have to know, basically, if you're just starting out as a system engineer, just how to create users, add users, remove users from the domain, and things like that. Next, and 3, CLI basics. So you're going to need to know the command line infrastructure basics, just how to CD or change directory or dir to list of directories, or ls if you're in Windows. You want to be very familiar with these. You don't want to have to be looking up the basics. I've been in places where I worked for a FANG organization. The manager knew I knew my commands, but he still sat over my shoulders, making me nervous as hell. So you want to be able to be in an environment where you don't have to feel intimidated when you come up against a problem. You want to be able to execute under pressure. You don't want to be someone who starts to fumble when the pressure gets on. Also, you want to be able to find the IP addresses. Like I said, of course, directory manager. If you want to create, copy, cat a file, if you're in Linux, you want to be able to do these things. Next, number 4, basic scripting. I know this is intimidating to a lot of people, But basically, scripting is nothing like programming. It is just that it's a script. You put together a line-by-line item, and you go one step by step. This is actually someone who commented this script right here, this example. They're actually using some Spanish, but the actual commands are in English, so they're easy to get used to. He's basically using a Debian-based system. They're using apt-get -y for yes to update. And this is just line by line stuff. This is nothing special. You're using a shebang, bin bash to set up your environment that you're going to be using a basic bash. And then you're going to go line by line, apt-get.y update. This is just something you would do on the command line anyways, but this must be something they're always doing or constantly doing when they set up a new server. You want to get the update first. You want to update all the packages. And if they're out of date, you want to know. Then you have apt-get install Python 3 pip. So they're using pip to install other Python packages. And then pip 3 install Django. So this is also setting the baseline for a Django website. You want to be able to just do line by line items like this. There's no serious logic here of if-then statements. You don't have to have a case statement. You don't have to be really that good or expert knowledge on it. Of course, the better you are, the more you're going to get paid, and the easier it will be to negotiate. Also, your day-to-day activities will get easier. You'll be able to take lunch or coffee breaks anytime or smoke breaks while your code is still working for you. So number 5, troubleshooting. So you like I said before, you might have an overbearing manager who's always in the mix, all in the video, all in your personal space. So you want to make sure you know how to troubleshoot when things get hot, especially if you're working for a private company and this is their bread and butter, troubleshooting for other companies, helping them out. You want to know commands like ping, traceroute, ipconfig. You want to be able to use IP adder. You want to be able to look at the logs. If you want to cat the logs, grep through log searches, utilizing either PowerShell or a Linux terminal. These are the things you're going to need to know. All right. Keep all this in mind. There's other things you will need to know as a system engineer. You would like to have some type of automation software that you like to use too, like a Puppet, Chef, or Ansible, or even Salt. And then there's also SCCM from Microsoft. But those are the added icing on the cake for those who want to become SME level or experts. You want to be the lead engineer. You would definitely have to have those. But if you're just getting started out, these 5 right here will take care of you in the field, and you'll be competitive. Thank you. Remember, like, comment, and subscribe. I have more coming for you.